Hey, I'm live on YouTube. First time for everything. They used to require 1,000 followers, and I never had that many. Now Instagram does. So if you're going to watch me live on Instagram before, and I couldn't go live there. So here I am trying out YouTube. I am going to talk about process goals today in a way that maybe you haven't heard before. And it has to do with our internal experience, setting goals on how we want to feel while we're working towards our goals. And I have a couple of other videos that I'm going to post after this to go along with this. But just as an introduction, I want to define what I mean here. Maybe you've heard about process goals as being, what you're going to do rather than the outcome. And that is an important distinction as well. And I'm going to link the video where I talk about that below. The attitude that you show up with, the behaviors that you do that might work you towards an outcome that you want are really important to define, as well as that vibe, emotion, feeling that you want in your body. There's an old saying that says how we get to a place is how we're going to feel when we get there. And we don't want to accept that. Our mind wants to tell us when we get to that outcome, when we achieve that goal, we're going to feel better. And the truth is, we're going to feel accomplished, but it might be fleeting if we don't learn how to feel good along the way, how to tap into feeling good on any given day when maybe we've had a disappointment or we haven't lived up to what we are trying to accomplish. But the examples I want to share about setting a process goal that's about our feeling, our body, our inner state, the inner world, are things like I'm going to be kind to myself along the way, or I'm going to give myself rest when I need it. I'm going to take breaks in between. Maybe I'm going to celebrate small wins along the way. Another great strategy for enjoying ourselves as we work towards goals or aspirations. I'm going to keep going. That could be another one. Showing up again and again, developing perseverance with a goal rather than giving up. That's a good one for me because I'm the queen of the pivot. I'm the queen of this isn't working. Let's go on to the next thing. And I've learned to cultivate that. Let me come back. Let me revisit. Let me rest in patience with myself and the process, whatever it takes. I will say the one area where I hear this talked about is more in the spiritual or manifesting realm. Feeling good is you're in the vortex, you're in the vibe, you're in the right state of being, state of consciousness. But in mainstream psychology, we talk about what are your behaviors? What are the things you're doing, even if you're forcing yourself to do those things? And I'll give you an example of that as well. Like if you struggle to reach a goal each day, you're beating yourself up. Get up, do it. You're never gonna get where you want to go. I'm thinking of the military drill sergeant that's like, let's do that boot camp workout so that one day I can love my body. I put that in quotes because there's kind of a war with your body that's happening. And I'm not saying there isn't a place for that. There is a place for discipline, but I think that's talked about quite a bit. And what's not talked about is where's the place for grace, for softening, for slowing down. That's the other thing is we're obsessed with fast results, getting there as quickly as possible, hustling, doing as many things in a day as we can to reach our goal as soon as possible. And what's missing with that, while there's energy, there's momentum there can be excitement, which I'm all for. That's part of it too. Maybe, the process goals, I want to feel excitement as much as possible. But what's missing is if we're in that grinding energy or vibe, is enjoying the process, which seems like I'm talking about this all the time. And I think we're talking about a creative project. Enjoying the process is important to talk about. But ultimately, this is about enjoying our lives. The goalpost moves. We reach a goal and then it's the next thing. I remember when I got my bachelor's degree, then my master's degree, then my PhD. So each one of these, it was like always on the journey to get there, or what is the next thing you can do? So if you don't know about me, I have a doctorate in mental health and nursing. I worked as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, mental health therapist. I still carry a small caseload of clients today, but I've moved more into embracing my artistic side, my creative side, at midlife. And I used to work at the university. So after getting all those degrees, then I went and worked at a couple of universities, University of Florida and then University of Hawaii. Florida, where I got my doctorate, and then Hawaii, where I moved at soon after. And there's a whole nother stair step conveyor belt once you're working as a professor. You start out as maybe adjunct part-time or assistant, sort of the bottom rung. And then you work your way up to associate and then full professor, and you get tenure. And this process of always striving for the next thing it serves a purpose. You're kind of on this career trajectory. But if you don't learn how to enjoy being that undergraduate student or that assistant professor, you will never, you kind of miss out on life. I don't want to say never, but you miss out on enjoying each step of the way, ultimately enjoying where you're at. And so I think it's important for many of us who struggle with maybe feeling good on a regular basis, if you have, a tendency towards overthinking or being self-critical, then learning to set goals for yourself can help you master the skill of being kind with yourself, developing an inner encourager instead of an inner critic. And this is not to say that we don't try to improve our quality of whatever we're doing, our art, our creative expression, what we're bringing out into the world. But it's that we don't have to be harsh with ourselves along the way. And I'm curious what people think about this. I don't know how to read comments here on YouTube yet. I don't see anybody in the chat, so I don't see anybody even attending. So this will be up, posted after I'm done with it, and it just shows that I am able to go live on YouTube. And my goal with the lives I was going to do over on Instagram was to do make art with me time, to set up a creative time where I would come on and kind of chat with folks, but have some art supplies out and you could have yours out as well. So I don't always think of YouTube as being that kind of space. I guess I use it a little more like a Netflix or TV, or I do a lot of learning on YouTube from others, but I don't know all the people that I'm listening to, whereas on Instagram, I feel I have closer connections with folks there. So let me know if you're interested in doing that. I'm going to try it out on Friday. Like I said, there'll be a couple more videos coming, diving into process goals, but also the classic outcome versus a behavioral goal, which a lot of people call a process goal. I'm going to just kind of go over that as well. If you're not familiar, you can check out below the link for those more extended discussions about kind of what do we have control over and what don't we. And we don't want to hold on with a vice grip to how we're feeling, because emotions come naturally, right? And sometimes even triggers come up. It's not what's happening right now, but we get triggered. Emotions are there. So there's a lot to understand with managing our emotions, but we do have some say in it. We can recondition ourselves to have a more relaxed, or I would say a more natural experience of expressing ourselves. That's what I am talking about today and encouraging you to do as well. I think that's all for now. I am Dr. Mona Lisa Chin, and my podcast is The Visible Creative. So I'll be doing, I don't know if I can put this audio over on my podcast. I'm going to try to do that as well. If you're interested in hearing more from me, hearing what I've done in the past on my channel, then please subscribe, like the video if you're like my take on this, or you're got something out of this. And I look forward to connecting with folks here on YouTube. Aloha. Bye for now.